Okay, we've already started the meeting. We realized we had a technical difficulty. The only thing we've done so far is the first item of business, policy 352. We're removing the line on school security officers that says they're not authorized to carry firearms because of law changes, and we're adding Add Act 120 and 235 certification. It's not a voted on item. It's just a change in some wording to make our policies match with 805.3. And now we're moving on to number 2, policy 625, procurement cards.
Okay, and then Chair.
And Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yes, and then I had asked the question, is this the most recent addition from PSBA before we even start?
We'd have to check with
Okay.
PSBA. I haven't seen anything since I've been here
Okay.
in the PNNs, but I've only been here for a little over a year. We'd have to,
Okay, fair
Christine
enough.
would have to contact PSBA and see if there's any updates out there.
So should we just hold on to this for the next meeting till we find out what's most recent?
She's checking right now, so
Okay.
maybe we could just skip
Okay.
this one and then come back.
All
to
right,
it
we'll
and see.
skip that one and we'll come back to it.
Okay, super terrific. Thank you.
Let's move forward to 625 AR 0 employee usage agreement. No,
So that's just the AR that goes along with this, and it's the agreement that we make with anyone who has the access to the purchasing card.
Right.
That just so we can keep a record of who has it and that they have read and understand these
Yeah,
rules.
Chair.
go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, let's just hold off on 2 and 3 until Christine has some. And if it takes a while, Christine, we can always table this, so don't, you know.
They-
Just doing a control. fund
Okay,
basis
sure,
Yeah.
okay.
2024 to 2023, that's the only PNNs that are out there at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
And the AR is the most recent one. I know. Looked at that.
We have a list of who all has cards.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well, we can get back to that when she's done, please.
all right.
802.
We'll
number
come
4.
back to it. Let's move on to number 4, 802, school organization. Frank, you want to move on this because this was your thing.
Yeah, so this is the part of the administrative change to the alignment of what PDE sees as the schools up in Renova to be Renova Elementary, which is a K6, and the and Bucktail Junior Senior High, which is a 712. So our policy had what you see in the strikeout that's
Right.
attached to the agenda. So I'm proposing we make these changes that just specifies what grades are at what school.
I'm good with that.
Thank you. Yes, good job. I'm just confused on number 4. I thought Renova Elementary had to be consistent with the other 2. Should it be K through 5 or is it staying K through 6?
K through 6 is currently in that building.
Okay, so we don't have to mention middle school.
Well, it's the junior senior high is 7 through 12 on the next line. So it's just organized differently than the Central Mountain schools.
Okay, so that's the way it was supposed to be. Thank you. I thought that was great. Thank you for the clarification. Good, good, good. Okay,
Okay, no other questions on that. We can move forward. Next one, number 5, policy 810, transportation.
810 and the 3 ARs seemed relevant to the questions that you were asking, Elizabeth, so I thought I'd include those because as I understood it, you wanted to look at them.
yes, thank you. Again, this is the most recent edition of the PSBA, correct?
As far as I know,
So it is.
it was from 2023, 810. Yes, so it was from the PNN in 2023. If you look at the top of
Okay.
the attached policy where it says code 810 volume 5, 2023, that means it came out of the 5th PNN from 2023.
Okay, thank you. The only thing, if we could just do this. Consider putting in two items and the grammar wordage can be figured out. One is an annual report to the school board from the employee transportation coordinator supervisor who does this. So if there could be something in there about an annual report to the board and then administration counting on you folks to decide what would be the most reasonable month of the year, depending on what works for that department, whether it's the end of the school year, the beginning of the school year. That would be really helpful. And we can come back to it next month after you do a little research. And then the other one is to add a line in here somewhere where, and again, the grammar, et cetera, can be tweaked however you feel comfortable. The principal or designee of each school building shall ensure the students arriving to the school shall exit the bus soon after it arrives under normal operating conditions. So again, the grammar and the text, I'll leave the coordination up to you folks.
Well, that part, I don't want to box us too far into a corner. I hear you. And what I've said is that under normal circumstances, the bus pulls up, kids get off, kids go into the building. There could be circumstances, whether there's a safety thing or something like
Sure.
that that's happening, where the kids have to stay on the bus for a minute. So I'd rather not put that in policy, but know that my directive is, and it fits it with, we already have policy, and this is, I don't know if it's one of the ARs, but we have a policy about, and it goes along with state law, buses aren't allowed to sit and idle unless there's other circumstances. And we're kind of hiding behind some of those circumstances right now.
Yeah,
That's the
we
wrong way to
have
say
one
it.
here.
We're using some of those circumstances. For instance, it's cold, so we have to keep the heaters on, so we have to keep the buses running. But I think I have clearly communicated with transportation and our administration team, and we are working towards fixing the problem of having buses sit on the curb with kids in them.
One question I had on that, is there an AR that says there's gonna be somebody at the school meeting that bus, and as soon as it gets there, it unloads and gets out?
No,
Okay.
Hmm.
Because I had some things thrown at me from some parents and stuff, and I wanted to ask you about it.
okay.
Would it be possible, since it's such a traffic problem, to save the largest amount of money, have the parents drop off on the backside, back by where the track is?
That's where they're supposed to drop off.
That's where they're supposed to. They're not supposed to be out front.
Correct.
Okay,
That's the traffic pattern that we set up at
And
the
that work
beginning of
seems
this
to work
year.
really well.
right.
Mhm.
It's 7:30, I think. Those kids get dropped off and then go in the building.
And then the only other thing was, if the buses, Elizabeth had notified us they were sitting out there 18, 20 minutes. If that's so, does Luke go out there and meet the buses and unload them, or who does it? Or can we get them out there quicker and so they're not sitting
Well, like I
waiting?
said, what we're working on is the plan, and there's lots of parts that go to this about staff time and who we have on hand and all that sort of thing.
Right.
We're working on, my directive is by the end of the month, we're gonna have a plan whereby the buses drive up, unload kids and drive off.
The other thing I was gonna ask, I know Renovo has a policy where the first bus isn't allowed there till 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And the buses are scheduled to be on a time slot, but we have twice as many, 3 times as many buses as they do.
More than that, yes, we have dozens of buses that we have to move around for.
Right.
And it's the high school and the middle school ride together. So part of it is the connection with the high school schedule and how the high school schedule and middle school schedule work together.
Right,
Another part of it is staff time and professional learning for the staff. And so there's a lot of moving parts here that
Right,
we're
right.
working our way through. So that at the end of the day, what I've said is we need to work out a system whereby the buses, when they pull up, they open the doors, kids get off.
right. Cause I think that would help your traffic issue big
It would.
time.
That's what we're
Okay.
working on.
That was all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you. So let me just, we're obviously, we're gonna table this until those two things can be put in there somewhere. The AR.
So just for
Oh.
clarity's sake, I'm sorry for interrupting. So the two things. The first one you talked about, just so I'm clear on that. What was,
Annual
what was the
report.
report, right?
Mhm.
So, and it'll probably be a fall report, but I'll double check on that.
However, whatever's best for you.
And the other one I think is kind of what we're talking about the buses pulling up and dropping off and leaving.
Mhm.
I don't think it makes sense for us to put it in policy because there are circumstances when we'd have to keep the kids on the bus,
Right, right.
but not as a general rule, right? So I don't want to put it in policy and paint us into a corner if we have to keep kids on the bus for any number of circumstances.
Well, I can understand that.
Well-
I'm in agreement with that. I just would like to see it that when the buses pull up, there is somebody there.
Yeah.
If there's
Yep.
no circumstances that we
Yeah,
have to
Right,
hold
and
them,
that's, yep.
get
I
them
don't-
unloaded, get them going.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't think policy is the right place to park that. idea.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
well, then in the ARs, now I realize those are administrative regulations. We don't control those. You 100% control those. It's a
Mhm.
management thing. But if we don't have a 110 AR, I just wanted to say that it might be helpful because those type of things might go in there, like under, it's your thing. I'm not trying to micromanage, I'm not. But I'm just saying, at somewhere to write in there under normal operating conditions or normal day-to-day operations, the principal or designee shall ensure the students arriving at the school are allowed to leave the bus within a reasonable amount of time. And we all understand, there's things that come up.
Well,
This is
he just said he's working on putting all them pieces together.
in writing. I wanna see
So if
something
he's
in
gonna
writing.
do that, we gotta give him a chance
Well,
to
absolutely.
find out what works, then put it in an AR or something. It doesn't have to be a policy.
Absolutely, I agree. I really do. And
Okay.
I also, the Radnor School District, there's other school districts out there that have AR, so I'm not asking anyone to spend a lot of time, just reasonable.
Yep.
And I also want to let everyone know this, and I definitely want to publicly announce this, Chris. This has to do with the buses, please.
Okay.
I've been out there every day since I believe January 28th, taking photographs. So there's documentation if it's ever needed. Now, this is private information only. I am not sharing the photographs with anyone. But if it's needed for private use at some point, and if I release these photographs to anyone outside of our board and you, Dr. Redmond,
Mhm.
I will ensure that they don't have a right to use the photographs, or I will block out the name of Susquehanna Transit. I will block out any license plates. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that it's private documentation I am doing. Okay, and
I
I,
would prefer, Elizabeth,
what?
if you didn't go on campus and take pictures.
I'm not, I'm on my private property.
Okay.
That could
Okay.
get us in a binder if a kid's face shows up. on
That's
it.
what I'm saying. It's private, because I've had people go by and say
Actually-
derogatory things to me, and I'm not,
I understand. So I think it's problematic if you're taking pictures of kids in buses and the parents don't know you or
Right.
why you're doing that, then they could be assuming that there's a stalker sitting across from the school taking pictures. So I would prefer that you don't do that. If you would like photographic, a capture of what the bus situation is, let me know and we'll get that through
okay,
official channels.
thank you.
Please don't stand off to the side and take pictures of our buses.
Okay, I just want to let everyone know that it's private information and it's not to be publicly shared and never will be,
I
okay?
prefer that if you want to get photographic,
Yeah, I'm just letting you know as of today.
Right.
That's it, okay? So it's out there in the public and people might, they understand now.
All
my
right,
own
let's-
personal-
Let's move forward. Policy number 918. Title I, parent and family engagement.
Megan, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so Justin and I have been working on this policy. This is an annual review. Part of Title I requirements are that the district and the school level have a policy 918 for parent family engagement. It's a federal programs requirement. It's also a requirement that we review and reapprove that policy on an annual basis.
Right.
So nothing has changed in the district level policy for 918. We're not making any recommendations. It's just sort of up for annual review. The school level policies, there were some changes. The policies at the school level before had very specific information such as specific dates, like there's gonna be a meet the principal on October 20th. We had a little bit of reservation with that because if anything happens where that has to change, we don't want anybody to be in violation
Right.
of policy because the policy locked you into a date. So what we did is we worked with the building principals and the building interventionists to just try to generalize that, to say there will be an open house in the fall. So that it gives some wiggle room, so that we don't unintentionally set somebody up to break policy.
Thank you.
Right.
So it just kind of, it makes it a little bit more ambiguous, but I think in a good way. Because each school has their own way of functioning and engaging parents, so just making sure that, one, we're compliant with federal programs requirements, and two, that our policies are meeting the needs of our schools. So, that's all those are.
Excellent.
So then we would just ask that this go in the, again, the informational section of the March board meeting.
Yes.
Because nothing the board has, it's just,
Yeah,
An
there's no
update.
changes.
Yeah.
It's just we're updating it. So
Mhm.
Christine, please add that into that also. And is there anybody have anything else?
just want to clarify. So the things that are going to the March board meeting is 352 for a first read. And then,
I thought we were just gonna.
I'm
put
sorry,
that on
yeah, I'm sorry.
information.
Thank you for that. Yeah, you're right. I was like, wait, no, yeah, so 352 would go on for informational, 918 would go on for informational. We're not
Right.
taking anything to the March meeting as a first read.
Right.
Right, those are all holds.
And did you find anything out on if this is updated?
So if you go to the policies and look under PNN, but in December, there is nothing listed for annual reviews for 6/25.
Okay, so we're just gonna let that
And I
one,
did email.
we're gonna let this one stand as is.
Oh, let me do it.
Okay, go ahead, Ellen.
Sorry. Unless you want to table it until next month.
Well, she just said there's been no changes.
Okay,
so-
okay.
From 2023 to 2024.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you, Christine, for checking. Here's a goal to consider, please. Limit the procurement card usage. Okay. Increase accountability and transparency while respecting the needs of our staff and what you need to do operationally day to day. Now, PSBA did send out a brand new AR, and I apologize. I received it and I just sent it to you early this morning. And they do have a new AR, but again, that's an AR. But that's interesting because the things that were in the AR are things I had noticed in other school districts' policies. So if we want to go through this right now, I feel that I would feel more comfortable if we table this until next month to give administration and Dr. Redmond enough time to look over the PSBA AR, the new one that they just sent out that I forwarded to you, because then it would make more sense with our current policy. So they're at a disadvantage right now, and I don't want them at a disadvantage. And it just so happens I just got it a couple days ago. So is that okay if we table 625, number 2 and 3 until next month? So give them time?
Dr. Redmond, how do you feel on that?
Yeah, I don't even see it in our drafts right now.
We got a policy guide.
Oh, thank you for the,
Okay, so.
I
yeah,
sent it through, I forwarded it to you today, which is unfair.
Yeah, the email that, I'm looking at that email, but there's nothing attached to it. So, yeah, I would like to take a look at this next month if we could, so we have a
Thank you.
chance to look through
Okay,
that.
Okay,
so let's go ahead and table policy 625 till next month. We'll table it for clarity. You okay with that, Christine? Okay, does anybody have anything else that needs brought up or discussed? If not, I'm gonna say let's adjourn this.
Thank you.
Yeah.